For the first rule, we are going back to 1871, where a young man picked up a book and read 21 words that had a profound effect on his entire future. This young lad was a medical student and he was worried about passing the final examination, worried about what to do, where to go, how to build up a practice and how to start a living. You could say that these worries are pretty similar with the worries of our young students today. This young student who read 21 words changed his whole life. It helped him to become the most famous physician of his generation. He organized the world famous Johns Hopkins School of Medicine and he got the highest honor that can be bestowed upon any medical man in the British Empire. He was also knighted by the King of England. So these 21 words are pretty interesting to me, you see. The words are, and I quote, "Our main business is not to see what lies dimly at a distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand." What this means is that we just need to focus on the moment. We just need to worry about the task at hand and not so much about the tasks in the future. We will deal with them later, but only in a moment that's available then. That doesn't mean that we won't have to plan the future. No, we need to plan the future, we need to organize the future, and we need to know what to do in the future. And we absolutely have to have goals in the future. But the only thing that I'm saying here is that we just don't need to worry about the future or the past. It's just not worth our time and energy, you see. The young lad that I was talking about was Sir William Osler, and he stated that the secret of his success was what he called living in daytight compartments. What he urges is that you learn to control the machinery as to live with the daytight compartments. This is the most certain way to ensure safety on the journey. He says that you need to touch the imaginary button and hear at every level of your life the iron door shutting out the past, the dead yesterdays, and touch another button and shut off with a metal curtain the future, the unborn tomorrows. Then you are safe. Safe for today, and that's pretty much the only thing what you need to be. So, rule number 1 is, if you want to avoid worry, do what Sir William Osler did. Live in daytight compartments. Don't stew about the future, just live each day until bedtime. But nevertheless, the secret is very helpful. It won't suffice completely. The author says that we also need to analyze worry. We have to get a more complete picture of the situation. If we don't worry but instead see objectively what the possible outcomes are of the situation, we have a much bigger chance of controlling the situation and therefore the worry. He says that we first need to get the facts, that we need to remember what Dean Hawkins of Columbia University said, that half the worry in the world is caused by people trying to make decisions before they have sufficient knowledge on which to base a decision. Sorry to say, but most of the people are just worrying without thinking. You first need to think why you have that feeling. If you don't think, how the hell are you going to solve it? There is a real difference between deep thinking and worrying. Worrying is stupid thinking and deep thinking is just logical and problem-solving thinking. And we are going to talk much more about this subject when I'm going to summarize books about Stoicism. But I can tell you just a little sneak preview about Stoicism, and it is that you need to control your emotions. Worrying, as I said, is stupid thinking, and this is the most of the time thinking based on your emotions. This is the most irrational thing to do. It will lead you to the path of failure. I can keep going on this subject, but I need to keep the video short because of people's attention span. But in the near future, I will dive much deeper in this. For now, I will say that we need to weigh carefully all the facts and then come to a decision. The decision how we are going to solve it, or what we are going to do next. Once a decision is carefully reached, act. Get busy carrying out your decision. Once a decision is made and action is taken upon this, dismiss all anxiety about the outcome. Let it all fall off your shoulders and keep going. When you or any of your friends or associates are tempted to worry about a problem, write out the answers of the following questions. What is the problem? What is the cause of the problem? What are all possible solutions? And what is the best solution? Perhaps this seems obvious, but we also want to give you some practical advice. And most of the time, advice is in theory pretty straightforward, but in practice very helpful. So rule number 2 is analyze your worry. If you can't successfully analyze your worry for some reason, then you need to break your worry. This can be done through several ways. Think of distraction, affirmation, or constantly reminding yourself what to do. The writer gives some possible ways to do this. First, we can crowd worry out of our minds by keeping busy. Plenty of action is one of the best therapies ever devised for curing a person who worries all the time. So this is obviously where we stand for and that we want to be known for, and that is simply that you need to take action. And not only for the sake of getting results or getting things done, but also for worrying less. What also is good advice is that you don't worry about trifles. Don't permit little things, the torment of life, to ruin your happiness. For example, when you want to brush your teeth and you just realized that the toothpaste is fallen off your toothbrush, it is frustrating, but don't make a fuss about it. Or you just found out that the dog shit your floor, or when you are traveling, you just missed your train, or when you did a presentation for your classmates and you totally fucked it up, or even when you make a video and you pronounce something wrong. Don't make a fuss about it. Yeah, it sucks, but you just need to accept it. There is no other way. You simply need to cooperate with the inevitable. If you know the circumstance is beyond your power to change or revise, say to yourself, it is so, it cannot be otherwise, and I'm just accepting it. When you accept the worry, the strong emotion will disappear and you won't lose a huge volume of willpower. And that willpower is something you need to worry less in the next coming hours of the day. The fourth thing the author says is that you must use the law of averages to outlaw your worries. The law of averages is a belief that the statistical distribution of outcomes among members of a small sample must reflect the distribution of outcomes across the population as a whole. Which means that how often something significant happens determines what the chance is that it actually happens, and therefore determines if we must worry about it. Ask yourself, what are the odds according to the law of averages that this event I'm worrying about will ever occur? Most of the time the odds are so very little that it's completely ludicrous to worry about it. For example, the chance that you die in a plane is almost just as big as that you choke in the food you're eating. So, rule number 3 is break the worry habit before it breaks you. To summarize: 1. Live in daytime compartments. 2. Analyze your worry. And 3. Break the worry habit before it breaks you. Thank you for watching, and as always, get your ass into action.